on the line. You can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake and Kyle back today talking about ball catchers. Kyle, the top 36 wide receivers in 2021 fantasy football. We could have taken it easy, Kyle. We are super busy dudes, right? We got a trip coming up here, going to Canton, Ohio for an expo. We should have just mailed it in and done a top 12. But no, the people don't want top 12, Kyle.
No, they don't.
They want top 24. However, we're giving you even more. We're going the top 36 wide receivers here in this episode today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Listen, this isn't the $5 pair of shears that you buy, okay, at Walmart.
Yeah.
Those are the ball catchers you don't want. You want the lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah. They don't ever catch balls.
Yeah, from Manscaped. That's the type of ball catchers you want, and that's the type of ball catchers that we're giving you in this episode.
I just had an epiphany. You know who would be the best sponsor, the best spokesperson for Manscaped?
Tater Miles.
That or Deontay Johnson, because he doesn't catch balls either. All right, moving on. How about we talk about the top 36 wide receivers? You guys want like goals as well. You always ask for them. How about 1,500 likes, and we'll give away a free draft
Give it
guide.
to me, baby.
That's right. Leave a comment down below. We'll pick a random winner here if we hit 1,500 likes. But, Kyle, I'm going to go ahead and throw up the top 12 wide receivers here on the screen, 1 through 12. Here we go.
And we're the same exact on the top four.
That
Adams,
shouldn't be a
Hill,
surprise.
Diggs, Hopkins, top four. They're looking the same. Why? Because Adams is right there along Aaron Rodgers on the discount double suck it tour,
Good
I
job,
think is
Kyle.
what you say.
Good job.
Definitely
Way to go.
don't deliver it as well as you do.
Proud
Tyreek
dad
Hill, the big scoring, playmaking wide receiver of the QB1, Patrick Mahomes. Stephon Diggs is teamed up with the boy that just got paid, the big arm himself, Mr. Josh Allen, and DeAndre Hopkins was just a target hog last year with Kyler Murray. So listen, those four guys right there, you can't go wrong with any of them. Get a little bit different after that, though. A little bit different.
I mean,
you love yourself some DK Metcalf.
I do, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why I can't just not put him so high, because we see what it was at the beginning of 2020, and the guy was on pace to be the overall wide receiver one-ish. Crazy pace. And then Seattle just got stupid and changed everything around. They have to. If I, as an almost 40-year-old dude, sitting in my living room, watching football, saw that, you have to think the Seattle Seahawks saw that, and they go into 2021 saying, hey, DK Metcalf is going to be the dude if we're going to be, putting ourselves in a position to win this division, because it's a super tough division in the NFC West. I love the potential.
Listen, the Seahawks haven't even been able to see that Rashad Penny is a much more talented running back than Chris Carson. Yeah, I said it, but listen.
But Penny can't stay healthy.
Wrong show. I digress. back to the ball catchers.
Yeah, talk about the next ball catchers.
That ceiling is there. Absolutely. Wide receiver 5. Like you said, he was the guy. If he would have kept up that pace last season, he would be the wide receiver 1 going in drafts this year. 100% believe it. I've got him a few spot lower at 8 just because I don't know what to get. I think it's going to be still some of those inconsistencies. They've already said we want to commit to the run more. Do they really do that? Is the offensive line going to be better? There's just a whole lot of things going on. That's why I'm just a little bit lower. Not enough that it's disrespectful, just a little bit lower.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say you're totally disrespecting somebody in rankings. You don't disrespect somebody in rankings. You disrespect them to their face. Right, Kyle?
To your face.
Yeah.
You don't subtweet people on Twitter, okay? You don't do that garbage.
Yeah, only if you're a child. Anyway.
Moving
on.
Calvin Ridley coming in at number 5 for me, where you have DK Metcalf. You've got Ridley at 6. We both agree. Wide receiver 1 in that offense. Tons of volume coming his way. Big season. I've got Keenan Allen at 6. You got him a little bit lower at 9. I think the big thing, because we love Justin Herbert.
Yes.
We love this offense. I got my boy on the wall back here.
Yep.
Listen, the one big thing, I think probably the reason you have Keenan Allen just a little bit lower is the big plays, right?
Yeah, I mean, and with a healthy Mike Williams, I think he takes away some of those big plays. Now, is he going to be healthy all year? That's the million-dollar question. But I think what it is with Keenan Allen is he's in such a good position that you know he's going to get volume. He's one of the best route runners in football. He can make a 5-yard out turn into a 50-yard touchdown. He has that ability. He can do everything so well. The reason I have him a couple spots lower is I'm still not 100% convinced that A.J. Brown doesn't still ball out even though Julio Jones is there. A.J. Brown is a legit superstar in the NFL, and I think having a super solid wide receiver on the opposite side for him is going to give him even more opportunities to put up big plays, and that's why I still kept him where he's at.
Yeah, and listen, the thing about A.J. Brown, too, is normally my argument here would be the volume is going to come down, so can he stay? I mean, him and Ryan Tannehill together the last 2 years have been historically awesome when it comes to their efficiency. It's not disappearing just because Julio Jones is there now. If anything, it's going to stay where it is. And we've seen him be highly efficient with lower volume. So we're keeping him here. I've got Allen Robinson at 7 and you've got him at number 8. And you know what? I don't want to talk about him for 1 second on this video because you did a must-have on him just a couple of days ago. So if you want to hear more about it, boom, go back and watch it. Terry McLaurin, F1 here at number 10 with Ryan Fitzmagic this year. Ooh la la, that's going to be some fun football to watch.
Yeah, and we both have him right here at 10, and it's crazy to think about because Terry McLaurin didn't come out as this like athletic freak that everybody was talking about. He kind of surprised a lot of people, right? And now getting an opportunity with Fitzmagic under center, Terry McLaurin could put up some redonkulous numbers this year. And yeah, love some Terry McLaurin. We both have Justin Jefferson dropped down. I have him at 11. You have him at 12.
He was higher, but this shoulder, we don't
exactly.
No idea what's going to happen.
Yep. Everything sounds like it's going to be okay. However, the last thing that I want from my number 1 wide receiver, in which you have to still spend a second-round pick on, is question marks surrounding a shoulder injury because the last time I checked, almost every time he touches the football, he's going to get tackled and either be hit on or land on that shoulder, and that just worries me a little bit.
Not only that, but you have to worry about the extension too. Going up and getting footballs, if he ends up needing to wear any type of a brace, does that limit the mobility a little bit? So, I mean, if we get the all clear and Justin Jefferson is ready to roll week 1, he's bumping up a few more spots for me. But as of right now, just being a little bit cautious. If it takes him a couple of weeks to really get going, to get fully healthy again, it's going to hurt his numbers to start the year. We're going to bounce down now a little bit just because I've got DJ Moore at 11 and you've got Mike Evans at 12, but the opposite of that is we both have them from 13 to 24. So let's bounce down into 13 from 24 because you've got DJ Moore down at 17. And I think it's basically the same thing that I just talked about with Keenan Allen. It might be some of those big plays that we're going to see Robbie Anderson get. We're obviously going to see targets go to Christian McCaffrey now that he's back and healthy. But boy, does Terrace Marshall Jr. look good right now. But I actually think all of this helps with DJ Moore's efficiency, and we see him be so efficient this season that even if that volume creeps back down, we know that he is a guy that can make plays in space, and that's why I'm going with him a little bit higher right now.
Yeah, and I love the talent of DJ Moore. What you said right there about Terrace Marshall is the reason I dropped him a couple spots, because I believe I had him somewhere right around 14 or so. Mm-hmm. But listen, Terrace Marshall Jr. in a Joe Brady offense, who was his offensive coordinator in college, he's starting to show out in camp already. The chemistry is getting there with Sam Darnold. Robbie Anderson, we know, is going to have some big plays. But don't forget, Carolina last year with Teddy Bridgewater had 3 wide receivers finish inside the top 25. So it's possible in this offense to do it again. I don't dislike DJ Moore. I just think the insurgence of a Terrace Marshall Jr. early just is enough for me to bump him down a couple spots.
One thing to point out here in the top, the wide receiver 2 range is for the first time all offseason, I put CeeDee Lamb above Amari Cooper. And does it hurt me a little bit as being one of the biggest Cooper fans there is? A little bit, no. But I mean, it is, we're a couple of weeks into training camp and we're already seeing that Amari Cooper is still a little bit banged up from last season. That starts to worry me quite a bit. So I've got to go with CeeDee Lamb over him right now. CeeDee Lamb is super explosive. We know that they're going to be playing from behind a lot this season. We know they're going to have to be throwing a lot this season. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is a guy we can go. And what I really like to hear too is they're moving Michael Gallup into the slot a little bit now. So they're really, really getting to a point with their offense where they're going to be a little bit more creative, which with Mike McCarthy at the helm, it doesn't even make sense. But it looks like they're trying to go that way. And if you can get CeeDee Lamb and as many mismatches as possible, he's going to be cooking some people this year.
This is what's a little bit spicy. Here's a hot take for you, Kyle. Before in these rankings, I had CeeDee Lamb in the top 12 before I heard about the news about Dak Prescott going back in for another shoulder MRI. That's how much I love CeeDee Lamb this year. He was in my top 12. Even though they say everything's good with Dak and it's just, they want to see how it's healing and how it's progressing, it worries me a little bit. I only dropped him a spot, but I want to make sure I put him down that wide receiver 2 spot. I love CeeDee Lamb. The step forward that he could take in this offense this year, it could be leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of the other guys we've already talked about. I mean, he is on pace to put up some huge numbers, and I love me some CeeDee Lamb. You kind of hit it, though, with Amari Cooper. He's still banged up. Amari Cooper and a healthy Dak Prescott are going to put up solid wide receiver numbers. Mm-hmm. Dak not 100% yet. Amari Cooper not 100% yet. We got to drop him down.
Another thing, I mean, we've also talked like Julio Jones. We've talked about what that's going to look like in that offense. We both agree Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're not going to hurt each other that much. So neither of us are getting lower on those guys. Robert Woods, we both love ourselves some Bobby Tree. So we've got him in that 15 and 17 mark there. We're coming down here, though. And the one thing that I'm seeing here is we both have Juju Smith-Schuster higher than the other 2 wide receivers on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep, and people don't like it.
And they don't like it.
People are defending Deontay Johnson left and right. And we're not saying we don't like Deontay Johnson, but who was the highest scoring wide receiver last year? It wasn't Deontay Johnson. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that what happened last year is going to happen again this year, but to just all of a sudden discount Juju because they were going to let him walk and he ended up coming back just for a 1-year deal and they don't like Juju. Let me tell you something about that. When Big Ben drops back to throw the ball, the last thing on his mind is who has the highest contract out here for me to throw to. That's not what he's thinking. He's looking for a safety blanket and who's getting open, and that is still Juju Smith-Schuster on a yearly basis.
No, you know who he's looking for? He's looking for the guy with the most TikTok followers. That's why he's going towards Juju.
That's what it is.
You don't like Juju because he's out there dancing and having fun. Just admit it, people.
Yeah.
Admit that's why you don't like Juju Smith-Schuster. It's okay. Do what you need to do. I don't like people for reasons or another. But listen, the dude, and I'm going to be doing a must-have video on Juju because if you look at the numbers, if there's one stat in particular that if it was even close to his career average, Juju would have been by and far the best wide receiver on that team last year, even though Deontay Johnson has as many targets as he did. That's for another video at another time. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you hate Juju. I'm not off that bandwagon yet. The kid is still young. He is athletically talented. Moving on to Adam Thielen at number 20. I actually bumped him up a couple of spots just because, again, the Jefferson injury, what's going to be happening there. We both got him here. You definitely love yourself some Tyler Lockett this year. And I not really love, but compared to what I feel about him, I feel like it's love.
Well, here's the problem with Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is going to finish as a wide receiver 2 or higher. The problem with Tyler Lockett, he's going to score all of those points in like 5 games this year. And that's the problem every single year with Tyler Lockett. It's not that he's not any good or we're hating on him or we're disrespecting him. It's just that you can't rely on him weekly. I mean, he's just one of those guys that he can score you 30 on week 4, and in week 5 come out and get 2 catches for 13 yards and totally disappear. That's just what Tyler Lockett is. However, at the end of the year, dude's still going to end up as a wide receiver 2.
Yep. I still got Kenny Galladay right here. I probably should bump him down, but I'm waiting on more information about the injury. If we get a couple of weeks away from the season or a couple of weeks from now and he's still not out there practicing, he's been out there. He just hasn't been running recently. If we get closer, I'm going to start moving him down more and more and more and more. But for right now, I'm kind of holding steady because there really hasn't been a whole lot of information to say Kenny Galladay is going to be missing weeks on end at this point. Yes, hammies can be an issue. But he doesn't have to be that guy that needs to use that burst and go down the field this year. They've got other guys on the team that can do that. He's got another skill set with his ability to run some nice crisp routes, to go up and get the football. That's going to allow him to take a little bit of pressure off that hamstring. So I'm still kind of holding right there. And we just aren't stopping. We're not quitting OBJ. It's just not happening.
It's not going to happen. I mean,
he's too damn good.
And listen, even if You come into the season and be like, no, I hate. I've been burned too many times by Odell Beckham. I 100% understand that, but that's in the past where you had to draft him in like the first 2 or 3 rounds. Now you don't have to anymore. And even if the guy comes out and quote unquote underperforms, what's 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns? Okay, I'll take
and
that.
You could get him as your wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that for my wide receiver 3 all day long. And
how many wide receiver 3s are putting up 1,000 yards and between 5 and 9 touchdowns?
Yep. I mean, and it's not like he hasn't done it there. He did it 2 years ago in that offense that wasn't even as good as what we saw last year. And now with that running game and that offensive line, they're already saying that Odell Beckham looks like he's back. He's on a mission. Baker Mayfield looks great. Listen, we can't discredit the guy just because you don't like him for what he did in New York 4 years ago. It's a different time, different place, different year, a lot less risk with Odell Beckham.
Boom. Jamar Chase, we agree. Wide receiver 1 there in Cincinnati. It was tweeted a few days ago that he was having issues with separation and things like that's not true at all. Okay. Jamar Chase is going to be the wide receiver 1 there. We both have him there inside the top 24, bumping now down from the top 25 to the top 36. Coming in, we've got T. Higgins at the same spot. So we really feel that Higgins and Chase are going to both offer that touchdown upside that is going to push them up here. I do got Tyler Boyd inside the top 36 as well as you do. I think we both agree that Tyler Boyd in the slot is going to be delicious. There's going to be he's not going to have the touchdown upside that the other guys will. So kind of liken this wide receivers to what we're seeing in Pittsburgh, like we just talked about. Claypool's going to be like your deep threat. Deontay Johnson kind of in the middle there. Juju's going to be that guy that's kind of over the field. That's what Tyler Boyd is basically going to be. He's like going to be a Juju diet. Okay. He's going to be a diet version of him. Not nearly as much sugar and carbs and things of that nature. But listen, he's still going to get the job done at the end of the day. He's going to be crisp and refreshing when it's 100 degrees out and you need a little on the lips. Okay. Cortland Sutton. I've got him at 27. This is the highest I've had him all off season. He's looking good in camp right now.
But so is Jerry Jeudy.
Exactly.
And that's my biggest issue is Cortland Sutton last excelled with the Broncos when he was their only option. I love Cortland Sutton.
Who's going to be the quarterback still?
Yeah, we still don't even know who's going to play quarterback for them. Is it Drew Lock? I mean, it sounds like it could be Drew Lock. Is it Teddy B? I just don't know enough. Jerry Jeudy still in the mix. Don't forget about Noah Fant, KJ Hamler. They drafted Javonte Williams. They got Melvin Gordon still. That's the part that worries me about Cortland Sutton is it's just he's not the guy anymore. They're not going to be reliant on him. And even though I think talent-wise, this dude is top 15 in the league, I don't think he sees the volume to get anywhere near that number.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are coming in this range for both of us. Deebo is going to be a really safe guy. I talked about him as a bounce back or a bust earlier in the offseason. He does a lot of really, really good things at the line of scrimmage. Ayuk is going to be that kind of big play wide receiver. He's the guy that's going to have the expanded route train, is going to do a whole lot more things as the wide receiver 1. But again, if it was Trey Lance, I'm putting both of these guys more towards the top 12-ish area. But it's not. It's going to be Jimmy G again. Yeah, no, if it's Trey Lance, baby, roll it up, okay? Okay, roll it up. Let's put those guys up higher. But listen, not quite wide receiver 1s if they have, but it's going to be Jimmy G still, and it's probably going to be Jimmy G all season. Love Trey Lance. He's going to be a great quarterback, but he didn't play it all last year. He opted out. I don't know if it's conductive for his growth to throw him out there against NFL talent right now. So I think we both kind of agree those are the roles that Samuel and Ayuk are going to play in this offense. And then this is where I got Tyler Lockett. Couple of differences. I've got Curtis Samuel inside the top 36, and I don't see him there for you. You've got Antonio Brown inside the top 36. I don't have him there.
Yep.
And then I've got Marvin Jones inside the top 36, and you don't have him. And you have Robbie Anderson inside the top 36, and I don't. So there are a few differences as we get further down here.
I just don't want to forget about Antonio Brown. He really started to click with Tom Brady towards the end of 2020, and now within the offseason, and I didn't hear any drama really surrounding him for the most part. Not Antonio Brown level of drama anyway. He should be good to go, and they got a great offense in Tampa Bay, and he may not be what he used to be in Pittsburgh, but he could still come out there and have some super solid weeks and go out there and get you 6 to 8 targets on a weekly basis as a flex if you need it. But those are our top 36 wide receivers heading in to the 2021 fantasy football season. We say this in every one of our rankings videos, and you know what? I'm going to say it again. We understand if your rankings are different. That's totally cool. We're not always going to match. If we did, the videos become pointless to watch. Getting different people's perspectives on different players, though, is what really makes you a better fantasy football player, because you are now opened up into the entire life cycle of all things fantasy football. You can look at the entire picture instead of looking at it with your blinders. But we want to make sure we stay interactive, so leave those comments down below. You have a light goal of 1,500 to hit. We want to give away that draft guide, so hit the like button, leave a comment down below. We're going to be posting some things probably on our community tab and Twitter, so make sure you follow us, because we're going over to Ohio to do the Fantasy Football Expo here this year. It's going to be a fun weekend, so make sure you follow us along. Our Twitter handles are right here on the page. I'm sure me and Kyle will be posting inappropriate pictures at times of things that we should probably not be putting on the internet, but whatever. We're going to go have some fun in Ohio with the entire team, and we're looking forward to it. So hit that like button, leave that comment, have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later.